Hello and welcome back to Time Under Tension. My name is Olivia Gravengard. Today is July 4th, and so for those of you who are celebrating, I hope that you are out there staying safe, that you get some quality time with friends, family, loved ones, and if nothing else, just taking a day to recharge and bond. Get out in the sunshine, stay hydrated, have fun today. This week, I posted a video on Instagram about being able to do what you can with what you have. And there's a quote by Teddy Roosevelt that says, "Do what you can with what you have where you are." And I think honestly, this is the greatest thing that we could ever do. I think sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves. I know I do, and I'll just speak for myself here to be the best at everything, to do all the things, to be the best in every area. And there's this phenomenon where we compare ourselves to people around us, and social media has increased that sphere of people to whom we compare ourselves. But we are comparing ourselves most often to the people who are the best in every single area. And so we might see someone with a great house and we compare ourselves to them. We might see someone who's has a successful business that they've started and we compare ourselves to them. We may see someone who has a big family and we compare ourselves to them. And so we're comparing ourselves compartmentally to all of these different people who have succeeded in various areas instead of thinking, okay, this person has maybe thriving in this area and that's their best area. That's the best foot that they're putting forward, right? But not necessarily seeing their whole life. And I think the temptation with that can be to say, oh, well, yeah, they make it look great or they're doing well with that, but I know that they're actually a mess in other areas. It's not about that. It's not about tearing them down. It's about recognizing where we're comparing ourselves to people's best expression of themselves or their gift or their area of abundance. And when we do that, comparing ourselves to all these different people's areas of abundance, we can find ourselves feeling lacking. I think coming in from that place of scarcity, of fear, of worry, of doubt, of thinking we're not where we need to be, that we're behind the ball, that we're not as far as we thought we would be at this point in our lives, it starts to disempower ourselves. And then we start to shut down because we don't have enough evidence based on this perspective that we can be successful, that we are on the right path, that we're on God's timeline, that we're right where we need to be in our lives. Comparison in general is dangerous because we're comparing our journey to someone else's, and that's not our calling. We're getting distracted. We need to put blinders on and instead focus on where we are in our own lives. But even once we do that, it can be overwhelming because we have all of these subconscious standards in our minds of where we think we should be. We have all of these shoulds that we think we should be living up to. And then sometimes we can get pretty stuck because we just see where we're at versus where we want to be. And instead of feeling that fire and motivation towards the goal, we can start to feel despair and frustration and worry and doubt that the gap from where we are to where we want to be is too big. It's too much. It's too daunting. We don't have the skills. We don't have the tools. We don't have the resources in order to reach those goals. So I found that coming back to this concept of doing what you can with what you have in the place that you are is helpful. It's grounding, saying, okay, ultimately, I have this goal that I'm kind of putting on the vision board and keeping my sights focused on where every so often I glance up. Every so often I look at the GPS and make sure my destination is still accurate. But ultimately, I'm focused on the next turn on the GPS, right? I'm focused on what do I need to do next? Okay, first I need to merge onto the interstate. Now, in 150 feet, I need to turn right, one step at a time. And we know that the destination is set, that we know where we want to go. We have a plan for how we want to get there. And now we just have to focus on what is the next step? What is the next turn that I need to make? What is the next adjustment that I need to make in my life to continue heading forward on this trajectory? And what are my resources? if you believe that you always have what you need, and I think this really ties into what you believe about your life, because it's difficult to operate out of do what you can with what you have where you are if you don't believe that you have what you need. But if you do, I believe God gives us everything that we need to take the next right step, everything that we need to make the next choice, the next decision, the next move on our journey that we've been called to make at this point in our lives, that we always have the resources that we need, even if we need to get creative or think differently in order to access those resources. If you believe that you have everything that you need for right now, you always have what you need to make the next right step. So, in terms of a fitness journey, what I see most often is people take on a new goal and say, I want to achieve this weight by this date. And I think it's great to have a goal like that. I think it's also important to understand that the body isn't just a formula. It operates dynamically and we respond to a lot of different variables in our lives. So set a goal and say, all right, I really want to start working on creating a lifestyle that will allow me to achieve my physique goals and feel healthy and energized for my life. Then you need to zoom back into what does that mean that you need to do today? If you want to be someone who's healthy, what would a healthy person do today? And take into account the resources that you have. So you could say, well, this healthy person, Lance Armstrong, is going to go lift weights and ride his bike, 20,000 miles today. Okay, backtrack. What resources do you have? It's like, okay, I might not be able to do that, but I do have time based on my resources to do a 20-minute circuit workout and go ride my bike for 15 minutes. That's great. That's a step in the right direction. But so often we think if I can't do it all, then is it even worth it? Is there a point? If I can't do all of the things right off the bat, is it actually going to help me towards my goals? And this all or nothing thinking, I think, is one of the most dangerous mindsets to inhabit when it comes to derailing ourselves from the journey. When we have that all or nothing, black and white thinking, we tend to think either I can do everything or it's not even worth it. I'm just going to do nothing. We say, okay, well, I ate like crap today, so I might as well not go work out. I might as well just drink. I might as well just wait until tomorrow or wait until Monday to kick off the diet. But really, when we come back to what are the resources that I have? What is the next right step? And zooming back into what's most important right now, we can say, okay, the next step is maybe the last meal I had was greasy and not something on my meal plan. Okay, what's the next thing I can do? Well, I do have time to go for a walk today. Awesome. Go do that thing. It's not all or nothing. It's all about how many points can you score for the goal that you're trying to achieve. And some days the other team may score. You may make the decisions in the wrong direction sometimes. But how often can you make decisions that are in alignment with the ultimate goal and taking into account the resources that you have? Summer is really challenging because we tend to want to be fit and healthy and we're showing our bodies more in the summer and we're on the beach or we're wearing a swimsuit or we're wearing shorts and we want to be really fit, but there's also usually a lot more events and drinking and food-centered events that happen that can maybe feel contrary to what we're trying to achieve with our bodies. For a lot of us, like kids are out of school too, so they're home and we may not have as much time to go to the gym and all of these things start to happen. And it can be easy to say, well, I'll just wait till the fall when the kids are back in school, when we're done with all these vacations, then I'll start to focus on my health again. But instead, I think the better mindset is to say, okay, these are my resources right now. I may have less time in the day because I have more events. I may have to be a little bit more flexible or mindful or intentional with food because I'm going to be going to these family reunions or I'm going to be going on vacation. But instead of seeing those as roadblocks, seeing them as opportunities for growth. Every time you think you run into an obstacle, instead reframing it and seeing it as an opportunity for growth and asking yourself, based on the resources that I have, based on the situation that I'm in, based on this thing that I'm facing, based on the amount of time that I have today, based on the fact that I don't have access to, say, my kitchen, or that I'm going to be on the road today, what would be the best choices I can make in the context of this situation? And if you ask yourself that every day and look for opportunities and strive to create opportunities in the context of what your life looks like right now, you will move forward towards your goals. And some days you're going to tiptoe towards your goals, and some days you're going to have more resources and it's going to be a full sprint towards your goals. But it's understanding that every time you make the decision in alignment with your goals, you're scoring a point for that team. You're scoring a point as the kind of person you want to be. And the more votes you can cast towards that kind of person, the more you're going to solidify this identity that will then drive you towards that ultimate goal, that end point on your GPS. So, with everything going on with the summer, with today being a massive holiday, I would encourage you to just stop and ask, what are the best choices I can make based on what's happening in my life today? And do that. And if at the end of every day you can say, I did the best I could with what I had in the place that I am, I think it would be really hard to beat that. I think it would really be difficult to say that there's success beyond that you did the best you could with what you had. So stay safe out there today. Ask yourself, what can I do today with what I have in the place that I am? And then reflect at the end of the day and ask yourself if you did that. And if so, congratulations. You scored some points for your team today. And if not, that's okay. It's a good opportunity for reflection and to say, all right, tomorrow I'm going to be a little bit more diligent about assessing my resources and creating opportunities to score points, to cast votes towards the kind of person that I want to be based on the resources that I have today. Thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. As always, you can listen on Spotify or Apple. You can also watch this on YouTube if you want to see my face. But thank you. Please like, subscribe, comment, stay safe out there today, and I will catch you next time on Time Under Tension.